Welcome back to the halftime show on the PAC Sports Network. Our coverage brought to you by Health Markets. And now at the half, we're joined by Westminster grad student Camden Hergenrother. Camden, thanks so much for being with us today.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
Camden, the Titans off to a great start, tied for fourth place in the PAC standings to begin the new year with tonight's opponent, the Geneva Golden Tornadoes. So both 5-3. Give us your perspective on the nice start for the Titans.
Yeah, I think we're getting there. Like you've mentioned before, we are a very veteran team, but there's kind of a big drop off from veterans to younger players. So we're just kind of bringing them along and hoping that they can get to where they need to be, and we need to get to where we need to be as veterans and stuff. So I think we're happy with it, but we know we can do better. So it's just kind of getting in the gym and working every day.
A nice blend with the veterans and obviously some of the younger players, grooming them. This is an extremely veteran Westminster team. You are among three fifth-year players in your case, a grad student, and there are four significant seniors as well. How invaluable is it to have that kind of experience?
Yeah, it definitely helps out a lot, especially knowing the system and knowing how the coaches coach. It makes it a lot easier on them, and then it makes it a lot easier on Nat, Lindsay, and myself, because then we don't have to do as much of the grooming, like you said, because now we have the seniors who have gotten a decent amount of playing time, and then it's like, economies of scale. We don't have as many people. We don't have too many people trying to do too much, and we don't have one person trying to do everything, if that makes sense.
It does. And you mentioned Lindsay and Natalie, and Lindsay Bell, of course, great fifth year forward. Natalie Murrio, great guard, former PAC Player of the Year. You three have been a big part of Westminster's success over the years, including a PAC title game appearance. What's it been like to play with Lindsay and Natalie over the years, and how do you fit into that role as a team leader?
Yeah, so I've actually been playing against Lindsay since I was in fifth grade. So that's a little fun fact that not a lot of people know. And we were rivals all through grade school and high school. But it's so much fun playing with them, especially Nat. I mean, she's just a great player, hard worker. She's my roommate, so we get to talk basketball 24/7 nonstop. It's just fun to play with them and kind of know their antics on and off the court and know like what makes them tick. So it's fun to see that part of it and see how that's come along in the 5 years we've been together.
I'm sure better to be playing alongside with Lindsay Bell as opposed to playing against her. I'm sure she feels the same way, right?
Yeah.
Now, talking with Coach Roseanne Scott, it was known that Lindsay and Natalie were coming back for a fifth year, but you were more of a surprise to Coach Scott when you returned. Tell us about your decision to come back for your grad student year.
Yeah, my decision to come back was basically all medical. I had to get some injuries cleared up and out of the way. As you've known, I've played just a little bit of my collegiate career, so I wasn't sure if I'd be physically ready to come back or able to come back. So once I got that out of the way, I started looking for avenues to get my MBA paid for, basically. So I was able to get a graduate assistant position in the School of Business. And so then once I got that, I was like, well, I mean, the stars are aligning. I have to stay. So that's kind of how it happened.
And upon your arrival at Westminster, you were named PAC Rookie of the Week twice, tabbed first team All PAC as a junior as well. It's not been entirely smooth sailing, as you noted. You've been bit by the injury bug a few times in your career. How proud are you of your accomplishments and what it's meant in overcoming that adversity?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very proud. I think I've done what I could do. Obviously, I would like to accomplish a lot more. I think I was capable of it. But with that said, I think I did all I could. I gave it my all. Even when I was hurt, I played through a lot of injuries too. So, I mean, I'm happy with how it's planning out. So it's just kind of one of those things where I wish I could do more or could have accomplished more. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. So.
So far this season, you rank third in the PAC in assists, averaging 3.7 per game, and help facilitate this Westminster offense. Coach Scott has said in the past that you remind her of herself as a player, and obviously she was a fantastic player in her day in the PAC at Bethany. How do you look at yourself as a player, and in what ways are you looking to impact the game when you're on the floor?
I mean, Coach Scott has said it before, but I like to think of myself as a coach on the floor. I've sat out so much, so I've learned the coaching side of basketball more. And so it's nice to pair that with the playing side of basketball, which I really appreciate how Coach Meg and Coach Scott have let me learn that side of the game. So when I'm on the floor, obviously this year I've done a lot more facilitating than scoring. So I like to get my shot back under me. But I definitely coach on the floor, and just keeping everybody cool and keeping the pace of the game is really what I'm out there for.
And while with your teammates, certainly it's a family affair with them, but the family affair extends to your brother Mick, who is now a sophomore on the men's basketball team at Westminster and having a nice season. What's it like for you and your family to experience a Hergenrother doubleheader in New Wilmington so often now every Wednesday and Saturday in the PAC?
Yeah, it's funny because my parents are like, oh, we have to do so much driving. But, deep down, they love it. I mean, they live for it. They're at every game, home game, away game. Even if our games are split, we play non-conference games, they're there. So it's so much fun to have Mick here with me. I love it here. Obviously, I stayed here for half a decade, but I'm just glad he gets to experience it. And it's so fun walking into practice before, after, and seeing him. And I call him Doogie. So I'm like, hey, Doogie. I'm like the big sister who embarrasses him, which is really fun for me.
Now, as a grad student, you're pursuing your MBA at Westminster. Tell us about your studies and what you're looking to do in your future.
Yeah, so I'm getting my MBA in business analytics, and I have a job lined up with BNY Mellon in Pittsburgh, and I'll be doing data analysis for investment banking.
Oh, very good. Very good. Now, this Westminster team is a tight-knit group that we talked about and has been very close to winning a PAC crown during your tenure with the team. What would it mean to you to go out on top this season, and what does Westminster need to do to get that done?
I mean, like you said, we've been so close every time. So it's right there. It's just kind of getting over that little extra hump, I guess you could say. It would just mean a lot to us. It would mean a lot for us to give it to Coach Scott because she hasn't won one in a while. But I think we've worked so hard for it. And I mean, we've overcame a lot on the court and off the court. So I think it would just be kind of like a relief and just something we can hang our hats on more with how much our group has accomplished in our 5 years.
That's grad student guard Camden Hergenrother. Camden, thanks so much for being with us today, and good luck to you and the team the rest of the way.
Thank you, Randy.
We'll have the second half of today's game when we come back in just a moment.